Chapter 6: The Digital Revolution, How It Changed Everything. Okay, so I'm an 80s baby, 1986 to be exact. I didn't know that I would be born in such a special time. Back then, of course, I was a baby. But remember what you might have learned in the history classes in high school or college about the gold rush or industrial revolution? It's just like that, but everything went digital. The digital revolution came about in the 80s when the development of electronics and technology started to heavily increase. If you want to know more, just look online. You'll find many different references as to what the digital revolution is just by doing a Google search. You'll see that when everything shifted away from analog, electronic, and mechanical devices on up to the digital advances that you see today, the computer is one of the main examples. It started out as this big, gigantic setup on the wall, remember? If you hadn't, just imagine that it was like the size of what the projector looks like on the wall. Maybe like two of those, actually. Anyway, you get it. It's gigantic. It's huge. It had like thousands of knobs and stuff that did simple tasks. Tasks that users of today's computers and smartphones wouldn't even think about. But now the computer is basically starting to fit in the palms of our hands. Our smartphones today can do so many things, it's ridiculous in comparison. Let's take a step back. Back in the 70s and 80s again. When you wanted to talk to someone outside of a phone conversation, you had to write them. First, you had to write the letter. Next, stick it in the mail and wait for them to receive it. Usually, it took like 3 days. Maybe more, depending on where it was going. Then wait for them to respond. This process could have easily took a week. In today's time, this happens in the matter of seconds. It can be done from a computer, tablet, or smartphone. And I'm not just referring to text message or email, which is the new age letter. I mean, in seconds, we can start a live video chat. Do you remember when that wasn't even possible for the masses? And that wasn't even that long ago. If I had to take a guess, I would say it's only been about 5 to 7 years since video chatting became really, really big. Now, I'm not trying to take you on a crash course about what electronics can do, but instead, I'm pointing out the very obvious difference in the times that we are living today. There are so many things at our fingertips that were not available 20 years ago. So this is the main reason why I'm pushing for people to become entrepreneurs today, because technology has changed everything. This is a very special moment in time that will pass or not. Either way, all the barriers of entry and challenges that we once had in business don't exist anymore because of technology. So one of my businesses is a marketing company. Right now, it is a one-man show, but in the future, it won't be. By the time you're reading this book, I probably have an employee or two assisting me. But that's not because I have to, but more so because it will help my productivity soar. With all these technological advances, there are so many ways that I can get the things needed to be done. Back in the day, there was no way that a one-man show was going to be making hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars. Well, not usually, of course. Now, in today's time, there are tons of entrepreneurs who pretty much work on their own and make a really nice living. There's an app or some type of platform that can be used to add effectiveness to your processes. The good old popular saying, "There's an app for that," didn't just come about for no reason. If you're around my age, which I'm 31 or older, you probably remember going to the school library to develop the skill of finding information in encyclopedias. Remember, those were super ridiculous large sets of books that you had to index through to find information? If some kids today had to find information that way, they would literally go crazy, I bet. I mean, it really was crazy though, growing up seeing the difference, how long of a process it was. And now we can pretty much do the same thing with the click of a button. Back then, that's all we had. I remember in high school, we started to use Google. It was fairly new back then, and it didn't have nowhere near as much content as the internet provides today. But now, the same info we used to have to spend hours to do can be accomplished in minutes, maybe seconds. But be clear, just because there are constant innovations being done around us, that doesn't mean that you will automatically be successful. It all matters with what you do with the technology. That's the difference. How will you use all these advantages in your business? Be sure to think about all the ways that you can use these new age apps and platforms to help in your processes. By doing so, you'll allow yourself to grow with the times. The digital revolution has provided us with the best time to chase your dreams. In my opinion, the digital revolution has provided us with the best time to chase your dreams. So don't just use this time to spend it using your smartphone to peruse social media. Instead, use these advances to do just that. Get advancement in the game. When you catch yourself scrolling up and down on the timeline, just being nosy, think about what you could be doing with that phone to get closer towards your future. You could be using it to listen to an audiobook or podcast while doing some busy work around the house. When you're sitting down waiting for an oil change, you can use it to look up information pertaining to what your business is in. Heck, even while you're at work and you use pointless time scrolling down Facebook and Instagram, use that time to find more information. You're living in the information age.